Hailed as the last of the cartridge-based video game consoles, Nintendo left us with a lasting impact on what we perceive retro gaming to be. I'm Heracross Gaming, and I'm counting down the list of my top 5 Nintendo 64 games. Number 5. Super Mario 64. Hailed as a visual masterpiece of its time, it was the first fully fledged 3D Mario game that existed. The series was kickstarted into a mission-styled adventure platformer that had so much to see and explore. With Mario at the helm to save the Mushroom Kingdom from Bowser, the classic plot carried over with a multitude of newer things to do, such as saving a baby penguin, racing Koopa, and defeating huge giant bosses, and with the fun and immersion was a constant, it never felt like it truly ended. Also, does anyone else remember Unagi, the giant eel from Jolly Roger Bay? Yikes, if that didn't give me nightmares as a kid, I don't know what else could have. That's one oceanic monster that's definitely seen some things. Number 4. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. This was the king of skateboarding's second Nintendo outing. I never owned the original, as I played the sequel, so I really enjoyed the career aspects from creating your own skater, to playing through and finding hidden areas within the levels, to the introduction of the revert, the first key move that allowed more chainable combos to improve your overall score. The level designs were so fresh and innovative that they are still used as templates for most Tony Hawk games today. Remember Level the Skull? It's actually in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, under the name Skull 3. Look at the level and you may recognise the layout structure, just with added bells and whistles. Pro Skater 3 would have been on my list, but it was a North American exclusive, and I didn't get to play it until the PlayStation era. Thanks Activision. Number 3. The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. I mean, my god, where do I begin with this one? When the series made the transition from 2D to 3D, I'm not sure Nintendo knew how successful it would be, but from what was expected to what was received, we're on entirely different levels. What Gamers got was an open-world adventure game with puzzle platform and RPG overtones. You play as Link, a kid who grew up in the Kokiri Forest, and from there begins an epic adventure through vast lands, creepy caves, and old villages. Unfortunately, due to my one per franchise clause, I didn't include Majora's Mask, which is just as epic, if not more so, but similar to Pro Skater 2, I played Ocarina of Time first, so it left an indelible mark on my childhood, and even my formative years. In fact, to this day, I'll pick up the controller and jump back into the game, and it feels as if I played it just yesterday. Number 2. WWF No Mercy. Some may know that as a kid I was a huge wrestling fan, these days not so much, but what keenly sparked my interest was the 2000 release of No Mercy. Hailed by many, including myself, as one of the greatest wrestling templates ever, as it mapped the characters, the arenas, and had fun and rewarding unlockables, including the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, Ken Shamrock, and even referee Earl Hebner. The controls were easy to pick up and the multiplayer was insane. The creative suite, as basic as it seemed, contained so many different ways to customize and create your wrestler of choice. So much so, that people to this day can create current wrestlers using the No Mercy Creator Wrestler. You'll see examples such as Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Dean Ambrose, and even John Cena! Now before we get to number 1, here are a few honourable mentions. Number 1. Pokemon Stadium. In retrospect, what else could it be? Cue the introductory music, grab those Pokeballs, and get ready for the most epic video game based battles possible at the time. Stadium to me has aged pretty well, as I find it similar to No Mercy in the fact that people still go back to it. The transfer pack that was released for the game allowed players to insert their copies of Pokemon Red, Blue or Yellow and transfer Pokemon directly from their save file into the Pokemon Stadium game itself. Now this may not seem impressive nowadays, but back in late 1999 and early 2000, this was a pretty big deal. Now granted, you could just use the rental Pokemon provided, but what made this game so much fun was being able to import Pokemon you were familiar with, rather than using the default options, which weren't terrible, but borderline basic in terms of moves and levels. With an impressive add-on feature with the transfer pack, a heated multiplayer, and epic battle visuals made this game a Pokemon fans must-have for the system. And that's the list. What were some of your favourite Nintendo 64 games? Leave a comment in the comment section below. I've been Heracross Gaming, and I'll see you guys in the next one.